Well, first off, I think RJ did a very commendable job the other night. Certainly, like all redshirt freshmen, he got off to a little bit of a shaky start, but getting the feel of the game. But as the game progressed, he became much better and felt right at home. And you can see that he's got the ability to be really a good offensive lineman. Certainly when we came to Virginia in those days, I think his dad probably was 82 was the first season. He was a sophomore because 84 is when he graduated. Got to know him as the offensive line coach going against the defense. You always talk back and forth and as you go along. So, I think we established a relationship, a player-coach, and then certainly, when we got back to recruit RJ, our relationship changes. Him as a father of a parent of a recruit, but certainly one that had some history with me. No, it just lack of execution on our part. It wasn't anything that we hadn't seen before, hadn't practiced. We just didn't execute. The snap was good. The kick was well on time. So it was just a matter of the execution of the three-man wall in front of the punter.
Are you going to have any update on either DeAndre Morgan or Jake Vermiglio at this point?
I don't do the injury report. The doctors and trainers do. They'll release it on Thursday every week.
Gotcha.
No surgery. That gets released on Monday.
All right. I think that's all I've got right now.
Tom, when you talk about wanting to get better in the offensive line, what will be the emphasis in practice this week for the linemen to do and to improve?
Fundamentals. You have to be better at your fundamentals. I think as the game wore on, we blocked the run pretty good in the second half. And you look at the second half, we put some drives together. We controlled the ball much better. But certainly the glaring was the lack of protection for Russell if we give him a chance to throw. He made 3 good throws out of the last 4 plays. I mean, we had a ball go off the hands, be caught in the end zone. We had a ball go off the hands for a first down. We had another chance at a ball in the end zone where we didn't catch it. And those were all 3 really good throws that he made. So, we have to give him a chance to make those throws. And then certainly, we dropped 5 passes during the game. We can't be dropping 5 balls against a defense like that. And the other thing that, cost us on offense is there's 2 costly penalties that took away probably 50, 60 yards worth of gain for us. The long pass down the middle to Owen Spencer and a 12 or 15-yard run by Tony Baker. I mean, those mistakes against a good defense will kill you, and that's what happened to us the other night. You can't make mistakes like that.
Was there a common thread you saw with the drop passes?
No, it's everybody had one.
Yes.
It wasn't the same guy, so it's concentration generally is what you have to work. But it's the thing about drop passing, you talk to the quarterback all the time. You can't get discouraged because my experience has been one of those guys is going to come back and make a great catch for you. It's just that 3 of them had direct influence on the outcome of the game the other night.
Tom, Vermiglio's injury, how much did that kind of hamper the synergy of what you were trying to do on offense?
Well, it did a lot. I mean, we weren't, when we set up the line, certainly we thought we had our best 5 up there. When you have to start shuffling the 3rd series of the game, that doesn't help you up front. But, as I said, as the game progressed, we got into a better rhythm. Guys felt a little more at home in what they were doing. So, we'll just continue to work and get better. I think, we got the right guys. And I think, one of the things that we did well is we prepared for this game as well as we've prepared in my 3 years here. I mean, these kids came to this game with the attitude that a football team has to have. There was very businesslike, not a lot of horsing around that we saw at almost first 2 years here, and like we were going to a parade instead of a football game. I mean, they showed up to play football, and if they didn't, it might end up the way it did last year, the way the game started. But it hurt a lot. It hurt this team a lot because they put a lot into it. And, not to come away with the victory is a tough thing for this football team, but it's something that, it's a journey. It's the first step. As long as we get better from here, we'll be fine.
You're talking about the attitude that the team had before the game, Tom?
Mhm.
What did you notice or see that sort of told you that? Was there something early on?
Well, just their whole demeanor, you know, when they came to the pregame meal and they got on the bus to come to the stadium, when they got off the bus at the stadium, was a whole different feel to this football team. You know, you knew that, I mean, at that point, it's one thing you know that they're gonna go out and they're gonna play hard, and, which they did. I mean, they went after them. You know, South Carolina came after us. You know, that was a pretty dang good defense. You know, Spurrier said it was the fastest defense he's had. You know, I think it played its way out the other night. They were the best defense in the conference last year in the SEC. And who knows where, if either of us are any good. Maybe, you know, maybe both of us are good, maybe both of us are bad. You know, first games, it's hard to tell. You know, but, you know, it gives you an indication of what you have to do, because you see yourself against somebody else other than playing yourself all the time. And so now the big thing is, you know, can we get better? Heck, you know, can we score a touchdown? You know, I don't know. You got to score a touchdown.
It was encouraging to see the defense, you know, play so well even without guys like Nate Irving.
You know, they didn't give up 7 points, but I think if you talk to the defense and the coaches, that they didn't do all that well. I mean, there's a lot of things we can be better at. We missed a ton of tackles still that, you know, we got to clean up. We can't go missing tackles like we did the other night. I think we had 11 or a dozen assignment errors. I mean, you just can't do that and be consistently good. So, you know, it's the same thing. You know, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are.
Can you talk about Washington coming into the game ahead of Underwood and Barnes?
Well, I mean, not that he came into the game. It's, you know, all through preseason camp, he had performed very well. We had made the decision during the week that he would be the third tailback, and he came in and did a heck of a job. Gave us a little spark there. Actually, if he would have taken that last run to the outside, he might still be running. But, you know, he's a true freshman and got in the game, got his opportunity. And, you know, if J.E. can't make it through the week of practice, then he'll get more playing time this week.
What did you see? I guess you didn't answer this after the game. I wasn't around, but what did you see from Tony Baker in that first game back? Were you pretty pleased with what you saw?
Yeah, you know, it wasn't the start that he wanted, but, you know, we had two guys whiff on blocks in front of him, and you know, he drops the ball, which he hadn't done all camp. So, but as the game progressed, and he's like everybody else, you know, he got better as time went on. You know, he was almost like a rookie out there again. I hadn't played for 2 years. And, you know, there in the second half, he gave us a burst on one of the runs that kind of looked like the old Tony Baker. So, you know, he has to continue to build on that for himself.
One thing about it, though, I mean, talking after the game, he didn't seem terribly down. And even he said, we asked him about the fumble, he said that wasn't the start on it. But
Yeah.
he seemed pretty resilient about it, too. I think you don't have to worry about him emotionally, do you?
No, we try not to, and you keep harping on, you know, it's the same thing, and this is not unusual in college football, but, you know, whether you do something good or something bad, you got to forget about it. Well, you can't let one play ruin your whole night, and he was able not to do that. And, you know, who would have guessed that, you know, the first fumble of the game, and they score, 5 minutes in the game is going to be the only score of the game. I mean, you know, you don't expect that, but, you know, it is what happened, and, you know, all we have to do is find a way to score a touchdown there in the fourth quarter and might win the game.
I think you talked a little bit about it early on, but you know, after seeing Russell's performance, are you worried about that his play, or do you think it's more, you know, like things you're talking about, the lack of protection on the offensive line, the drops the receivers had?
No, I'm not worried about Russell. He competes, and, you know, he always has competed. And, you know, certainly things were flying fast out there the other night. But he, you know, when you come right down to it, a lot of games are decided in the last 4 minutes of the game. And we might be in 10 of them this year, you know, the way that one was. And you expect, and we spend a lot of time practicing the last 4 minutes of a game, ahead, behind, tied, whatever. And we were in a situation that came right down to it. When he had to make throws, he made 3 pretty dang good throws. And he ended up getting sacked on a coverage sack. We didn't have anybody open. He had enough time to throw that ball. And that wasn't, you know, a line problem. It's just that whatever the route was, we didn't get open. We didn't have a throw. We tried to buy some time, and they captured him at that time. Didn't let him create. You know, they can do that. They're pretty good, too.